What is up, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of Unboxing. This is your host, Moustapha.
This is Jose.
And today we got Coach Brandon.
Brandon, what's up, everyone?
Let's go. Okay, so I'm super excited to have. You know what? I think he's, for me personally, the most I'm excited about.
Yeah.
Because we don't just.
Honored.
Because he doesn't just show me like cool things in boxing and like things that really protect me when someone's coming to knock my head off.
Yeah.
But also, like we talk about like a lot of different things. Like we talk about like life in general and certain things in life. But like, do you have anything you want to like say to everyone before we jump ahead and go started? And because I want to ask you, like, okay, this is what I want to ask you. Why'd you go into boxing? Because boxing is so brutal.
I love this question.
Yeah.
Okay. So for me, I grew up in East Dayton. Our area in the Xenia Avenue area, 5th Street, 3rd Street, Dayton Public Schools, a little bit of a gladiator-esque kind of neighborhood. And it was back in the days when if someone told you to meet him at the park or meet him something like that, like everyone would be there and it was an event.
Yeah.
You know? And so
Thing.
kind of like not being shy to fight in front of people and definitely understanding very quickly that I needed to learn how to fight.
Yes.
Because my first fights didn't go that great.
Yeah.
And then I was starting off with that. I stayed in trouble as a kid. Here's one that probably I don't know if it's podcast appropriate, but
So everything.
actually, as a juvenile, I was arrested over 100 times. Man.
Really?
And I did time in
That's
juvenile.
crazy.
And what led me to this sport is I was on juvenile parole,
Yeah.
not just probation, but actual juvenile parole. And I had to go downtown to see my PO. And after I would see my PO, I wouldn't always go straight back home because, you know, who does that? I got all day. Back then, there wasn't cell phones. There
Yeah.
wasn't, we had pagers, but you couldn't track where a pager was.
Yes,
you know,
yes,
so
yes.
it would be like, here's bus money. You got to go see your PO, see ya kind of thing. Like, so I head downtown. See my PO, yada yada. On the way back, I walked past the boxing gym, Drake's gym downtown.
Yeah.
And when I walked past it, the garage door was open, and I could see the ring, and I could kind of see some people in there kind of messing around. I don't know if they was fighting or what. But as I walked by, my head is like following it all the way to the corner of
Yeah.
the street there, and I was like, I gotta go in there and check that out. So. I stop in, pop my head in the door. The owner, talked to him a little bit. He does at that time. He did monthly exhibition fights,
Yes.
and he said if you fight, you could train for free. And I was like,
Oof.
that is exactly in my budget. You know, at that time, my budget that was on point. Like I'm like, so we get started. He was a good coach in the sense he knew physical fitness very well. He ran us hard. He trained us hard in that. Like, he didn't understand the mechanics of boxing, the
Yes.
why.
Yes.
You know, and so we went as far as we could there. Kind of, I had a group of friends that I had made there, just like the gym family that we have at DMC.
Yeah.
Very similar. I have generations of gym family, I would call it, because we've all grown up. I'm 40 now. We've all grown up and spread out throughout the United States and Europe and Italy and many other
All
places.
over. Yeah.
Now that I have friends that when I see things happen, I actually message, "Hey, what's going on? What's going on over on your news over there in that side of the world?"
That's dope.
I don't trust ours.
Yeah.
And then I had to, as an adult, still couldn't behave myself. And at 21 years old, I found myself back in jail again, doing 4 years this time. And during this time, I went through a lot of growth in that time as an adult. I still had an immature mind, but maybe with some adult goals. It
Yes.
was a good thing. When I came back home, I was in better shape because of the free gym membership. You know, that's one of the pluses,
Wow.
with the free room and board.
Yes.
Um, and I had the idea that, like, I'm going to have my own business. I'm going to open a boxing gym. I'm going to, I'm like, prior to this, this is an example of like the small brain of my upbringing and neighborhood, maybe. I didn't know that anybody could own a business. I thought, like, I don't know, you had to
Wow.
have like a certain license, or I understand a business. I understand it very well now. I went
Yes.
to
Yeah.
school and did many things, but just back then, just didn't think like those things were available to us.
Yes.
Like, my family were all working class. Both my grandpas drove for the Teamsters. My dad was a mechanic, diesel mechanic.
Yes.
All things that complement that.
Wow.
And for me, I was always a mechanic's helper. Uh, I did own a towing company for a while,
Really?
long enough to know I don't want to own a towing company. That's for
Ever
sure.
Yeah,
again.
yeah. It's a lot of work,
It was
isn't
a
it?
rough. It was a rough job for real.
Yes.
People are always calling you on their worst day.
Yes, yes.
Like,
And
and I
do
had
you
no
do the
idea.
physical labor yourself? Oh,
Oh, I
yeah,
was a
yeah. Do your
one man show.
show, yeah.
Yeah,
That's right.
I eventually hired three people, but it was a long time before I did that. And then
Yes.
I sold it all. I was at the end done.
Yes. It makes sense.
But for boxing, back to boxing. So when I got out, I went back to the same gym. We did some more exhibition fights, the monthly thing. Jumped back in the rotation on that. Um, I had some good and some bad out of the exhibitions. I've never been an undefeated fighter, that's for sure. And I felt like I to pick opponents to try to cherry pick easy fights and stuff like that, like, would be weak, and I just
It
didn't
wouldn't be
do
a
it.
part of it.
Yeah, I just did, and I actually, I don't know, took on some dudes. I think that if I were my own son, I wouldn't let my son take that fight. Like, I'd be like trying to protect him. But a lot of my style that I teach and that I do is an inside close range fighting style, and it's because fighting big heavyweights and stuff like that, I actually found that I was safer being close to them,
Yes.
and staying away from them gave them room to generate momentum
A
to hit
lot
me
of power.
harder.
Yes.
Yeah,
And
and
inside you only have to protect like just
it's more about position,
yes.
leverage,
Yes.
control, framing, like many different things that um, the heavyweights have to do because of great power.
Wow.
And Deontay Wilder, probably one of the best examples. He's really tall, 6'7", 6'8". At one point was heavyweight champion at 212 pounds, I think.
Yes.
So
That's
not
crazy, yeah.
not a very dense guy, but that right hand, even when your hands are up, even when you're blocking, even when you're moving, if it catches you, good night. It's
That's right.
over.
That's
And
right.
um, something that I think maybe most don't know, but all heavyweights possess knockout power.
Yes,
Even the
they
ones that don't know what the hell they're
I
doing.
fought light heavyweight and his punches, bro, car
Mhm.
crashes.
Yes, the light heavyweights, you're gonna run into like the college running back ish type athlete.
Yes.
That's the people I fought as well.
Yeah.
And some of the actual heavyweights that I fought, like, were much, by 70, 80 pounds heavier than me, stuff like that. So,
Yeah. What
um,
was what was your fighting weight?
weight. Under 201 for USA Boxing, and then
Oof.
the exhibition stuff we did, I would say I usually was 205 to 210.
Okay. So you would
Which is
fight
still heavyweight, but
you'd fight really big guys.
yes.
And then they probably were coming down from like a heavier weight class.
In USA Boxing, you have to be within 7 or 10 pounds of each
Yeah.
other. So those fights were really close in weight. The
Yeah.
exhibition fights, a lot of times it would be like people that showed up that were from other gyms, other stuff. It was kind of like a meeting of
It's a
all the,
heavyweight. Just like a
and
heavyweight, like two.
it would be more picking people that were available in game
Okay.
for,
Yeah.
kind of thing. And
Heavyweight.
Yeah.
it was a really good
That's pretty
learning
cool.
experience. I would say that, like, maybe having real judges at that time would have been more beneficial because it was more crowd thing, and I always came deep. Oh, it's
Yeah.
my whole neighborhood in that
Nice.
place. You know,
That's
like, yeah. Back then, it was like that. We were all like very close. All our friends, neighbors, family. I feel like in the modern time is where this cell phone has brought us closer to people farther away. It's took us farther away from people closer.
100%. 100%.
Yeah,
And you would think it's like a huge help, but it's not.
yeah,
It's not. It makes you more alone than anything.
It does.
Yes,
does.
it does.
It makes real
Yes.
interaction awkward and weird.
Yes.
Strange if you say hello or
Yes.
or if you compliment somebody.
Yes.
All of a sudden, it's,
But like I never thought about this up until like maybe the past year or two. Like it's new to me to think because I always thought like, oh no, it's a huge help for humanity. Like this kind of technology is a huge help.
It was supposed to be.
It's the Oculus. They've dreamed. Mankind have dreamed of the ability to do this for 10,000 years. They've spoke of like if they had the crystal ball that you could ask a question and it'd give you
100%,
answers and show you far away places and
Yeah.
all. You know, it's amazing. It's just
It's the Oculus.
it's also comes with the other side of the blade.
The past 2 days you've been saying a word like it's taxing.
Mm.
Taxing.
It's taxing.
Yeah.
Yes. It
Yeah, I
takes,
think we're all going to like like reality, like a whole different reality. Like he's talking about like the phone right now. That's
Yes.
everybody has dreamed of this.
that's
Right?
true.
But like we're like going now towards like something.
It's in front of us and you can move it and
Yeah.
like do things with
But
it.
eventually, we're gonna be immersed
Yes.
into that life. You know.
But you know what? And speaking of that, like okay, so the latest discovery in Egypt, right?
Okay.
Have you
Under the pyramids?
the under the pyramids?
Okay.
The scientist, the sonar. We had a conversation about this, and he told me for the first time. I never heard about this, and I'm like a huge geek when it comes to ancient Egypt. Something called the halls of Amenti.
Not familiar.
Holy,
Bro,
Yeah.
brief,
bro.
brief.
So the halls of Menti to me, it's like
But we want you closer.
yeah. So it's supposed to be like a place where like royals would only royals or like people like of high stature like would go to these like to this place to transcend into like a different life.
Okay.
You know?
Okay.
To like hold their like
So like a
To, like, rejuvenate.
this kind of thing. Or
Yeah, so here's what I believe.
Yeah.
Here's what I believe after we had this conversation. I believe that we do live in a simulation. This is an electromagnetic simulation that became like heavy electricity and made us into physical beings. Right? We are not physical beings. That's why like they say like pain is not real or like existence. All of this that doesn't matter. Like what matters is the afterlife because for me, the way I see the game is that like good deeds accumulate and then whatever you are as a human being and how you affect everything else. And then like vice versa, like the game goes two different ways, but it's like a real life game. It's like a real life. And what I believe about the pyramids and the halls of Amenti and everything with that, I believe that like our souls are playing there in us, like, and then we are existence. So because if I think about it, like, where are my thoughts coming from? Like me? Is it me or is there like an antenna for me? I'm receiving because I feel like the body is a receiver, like as a receiver of information.
It's interesting to say the least, for sure. And just the, our third eye ish, or what our soul sees, or what the best question I have for it all though is, remember before you were born?
Yeah.
And everyone, no.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, I feel like after our time, we go back to wherever we were before we were born, because our soul, they proved without a doubt that it is within us and it leaves at the time of death. Like there is something. It weighs 61 grams. They did this. I wish I could quote the experiment they did to test it, but on 1,500 people, 61 grams left.
That's DMT leaving the body.
Yeah,
That's DMT. It is. That's the pineal gland, because that's where the dreams. I know exactly which one you're talking about. It's where dream, like when you sleep, like DMT leaves your body.
Yeah.
And then when you die, the same chemical leaves your body.
And then they have the OBE stuff, out of body experience.
Yes.
And
That's
using this,
ayahuasca.
unfortunately, the government of the United States always try to find ways to use things to make war with it. They were trying to control OBE to be able to see things around the world and be able to
And I
actually
think
see it in real time.
to be honest, I feel they are able to do that.
They were successful with it. They
yes.
say a lot of the research they did is scary.
It is. It is because they know things.
Yeah, like they were able to see things in a different place, right? Like I saw something about that. Like there's like an operation where like they
know
had
what
psychics.
the thoughts are saying.
Yeah, they had like psychics and like people who like were
Yes.
talented, right?
Yes.
And they had them like go to places and places they didn't know of and what's going on.
Yes.
And it was all confirmed.
So those are so just to be clear, those are all stories and their theories.
Yeah.
And genuinely, I don't have any harsh truth, but this is my conclusion. This is where my conclusion is at.
Yeah.
And I believe that there is existence has been manipulated. And we're now this is modern slavery right now. This is proper modern slavery without realizing it.
They have
Because we have bigger powers than this physical existence. Our powers are way bigger than this. Because they say manifestation and everything. And
I do believe in manifestation because when my thoughts and my mind was evil,
yes,
evil was produced in my ways and my actions.
Yes.
And as we age and mature and get a handle on ourselves and face our own truth,
Yes.
I guess we learn to do things differently. When you grow up and you're a hammer, everything looks like a nail.
Yeah, it's true.
Every situation, every problem can be solved with violence.
Were you ever religious?
I actually come from a double religious family, I call it. Half Catholic, half Southern Baptist. Mom's side, not as heavily into the church. Dad's side, my grandpa was a deacon of the church. He was a Sunday school teacher. He was the kindest human being I think I've ever known. And
That's nice.
yes, and he even helped me in a lot of ways understand the soul and life and death and even accepting it and left me with questions too.
Yeah,
And that's deep, right?
Yeah, it always does, right? Because that's the journey.
He was the kindest. He was the most devoted. Always do right, just in all ways. And at his time of death, I was present, and it was probably the most awful thing I've seen anybody experience leaving this world. I've unfortunately been witness a few times, and others being peaceful and sleeping and stuff like that. And I thought to myself, there's no way that there's a little man up there that's controlling things. There's just no way, because for him to do that to him, his most loyal subject, even if the books we read are different, it all kind of roots back to one God.
Yes.
And some have the Trinity, but even the Trinity itself is still like a one God Trinity.
But then it embodies a human being.
Mm-hmm.
And it makes to me, it makes no sense.
Yeah, there's no way it could be a little man. The reason why is because of the good that's allowed to happen to those that maybe don't deserve it, and the bad that happens to those that don't deserve it. You know, if he had control, if it was that kind of situation, he has some things to be accountable for. Then that happened on his watch, and and with that. What motivates me to do good is not an afterlife reward, and it's not religion. It's my own kids and my own soul. My own soul. That's because we all are issued just one. We help create some extra souls. That's, but we are issued our one soul, and when you do right, even when nobody's looking, it even cleans off a little dirt that you might have got on it in the past too.
So hold on. The way I understand it is the way, just to put it into my thoughts, that there is a God but it's not in control.
It's not a man. Couldn't be.
Yeah, it's not a
Yeah,
man.
yeah.
Yeah, okay, so we agree on that point.
Yes.
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 I feel like when the closest thing that
But
we got to
do you-
physical that we could see
Yes.
is the sun.
Yes.
Because
Yeah,
you
yeah.
can watch it give life, you can watch it take life. It's indiscriminate. It don't- you know,
I think the sun and the moon are both equal in size, and like they're local. And then the moon does more the electric work, and the sun does more the
I
fit.
actually love this topic.
Yes.
I have not seen enough evidence to say that to believe the Earth is round. Mostly based on the people that get angry
Yes.
when you disagree with them.
Well, you have to pick. Yeah. Even you know what? Even religion for me, I'm willing to
Yeah.
talk for days about it.
Yeah.
Because like I like if I believe in something, I need to know all the ins and outs so that I can talk about it. And then if there's flaws in it, I will happily change my mind.
Yes,
And
yes.
and so
we
far
need that. We need the
and so far in Islam, I find no flaws. I find no flaw, and I'm not saying for me. I'm not saying with the because like I love it so much, or no, because I did my like I've done my search and I've done my experience and I've seen things on.
I feel like
We talked about the third eye before.
all of them have, to me, man's hands all over it, and that's the part of a religion that makes me not believe in the organized or that the creator's a man.
So
or
this is a
anything.
great point. In Islam, the way you're talking about it, a man's hand, it means it's been written by men.
Interpreted,
think
written.
that.
Yes,
Mhm.
but
Our creator don't have language like we do.
No.
To
But-
think that our creator
yes,
speaks what we speak
Yeah.
is almost like that right there alone like blows my mind to even think, because we are so simple.
yes.
We are so simple, and I grew up.
And the Quran
a
is
pretty
the
simple
Quran is
brain.
very simple.
Like the reason why a lot of the troubles that I found myself in was growing up around simple thinking, simple brain. And the thing that made me want to keep scratching at religion the most and digging and researching and going further was the people that got angry when you questioned it.
Yes,
When you asked me about boxing,
Yes.
right? If you were like, do you think the left hook's better than the jab? You're like, simple, right? Nothing. I don't reply to you with anger.
that's true.
You know? I'm like, I think the jab's better.
Yes.
Because the jab has got to set the pace,
More
get
reach.
your range. Yes, I could survive alone. I could win the fight alone with only my jab. I
So
don't
there's so in boxing there's the jab is like one, right? Is like number one.
Mm-hmm.
It's like the number one. It's like the number one. So there's always a number one. And everything
Yes.
there's always number one.
Yes, there's an
There's
order
a-
of things.
There's an order of things. So what is in the order of life? Of all of existence to me. That's to me God.
Hmm.
Of it all. Like we don't even comprehend the
Yes,
Correct.
I
And
agree with
why,
that.
to think that our creator put us here to worship him.
Yes,
I think that's
I
what we
think
defer.
I think we should.
Yeah, I think that's what we defer. I think I think everything is making us
Our
go
creator
against that.
knows what's in your heart.
Yes, he does.
Knows what's in your soul.
Yes.
Knows what's in your thoughts. As far as we know, the thoughts you have, the voice you conversate with in your own head is that of the creator. That's what
Yeah.
makes us different than everything on this planet.
So, do you believe in like that demons exist?
No.
You don't.
On earth, yes.
Yes.
In flesh, yes.
Yes.
Oh, yes. In flesh, there are demons on this earth.
So
yes.
on
I've been one.
no, but like I'm talking about like entities.
Like thoughts. Like I think that
Poltergeist-ish type, like spirits. No, I do believe that our soul is eternal, though, and that it doesn't like go out and.
And you don't believe it will ever end?
No, I believe that we are in this cycle for a reason. The same way you got here,
But then it
the
has to
same way
end.
you leave,
It has to end
the
the way
same way you come back
it has to
again.
end the way it started. It will
Yeah.
like I think that's where people are stuck. They're stuck in the game, but not knowing that the game is ending one day.
Mm.
The game is ending one day because that's it. Like also I believe that
That has always been the
because
the
it
message.
started.
It's always been the message
Yes,
in every book
in every prophet,
and every prophet.
one God, worship the one God, because that's what He
Because
wants.
the day of judgment's coming.
Yes,
I feel like if that
this is a
a
great
lot of stuff
conversation.
is really lost in translation when they talk about judgment.
That's why we believe in this
And
in the Quran.
also, I'm an agnostic.
So what does that
Agnostic,
mean?
You believe in a creator,
Yes.
Yeah.
but none of the rest. All the books, all the writings, all those things, they will tell us anything. I'm truly just untrusting of.
That's the Quran. It tells you to worship one God.
And as I get to understanding things about the Quran more, I feel like if I were probably to ever be religious, it's probably the most truthful.
It's the most righteous.
There's I don't know all the stories of it, but there's the least amount of really wild stories. Because if you read the Bible,
yes,
it gets pretty wild.
It does.
Like,
so the Quran, I can speak for that just a brief moment, and I think we're gonna do a part 2 tonight.
Sure.
Yes, I think for the Quran, really quick, is that it is the most preserved book, and for me, I'm an Arabic speaker. I speak. This is my native language.
I feel like that helps you understand it on a deeper level than an American.
It is mind blowing.
Yes.
And for me, like, man can't write this kind of things. Like, it doesn't make sense that man has no, because of it's the miracle book. Because, for example, it's been written over the course of 23 years, and it was revealed to a man that doesn't know how to write or read, and in the desert.
Okay.
And all this information about ancient Egypt, information about prophets from the past, information, it speaks about Jesus the most.
About Jesus, about
That's one of the things that really is mind blowing.
Yeah.
Yes. Because one book is all about him, but he ain't talking. The other book,
yes,
he is more in it than probably any other writing that there is.
So we believe that Jesus was born without a father. We believe that he was born as a guidance to humanity, for humanity to see that God
he was born. 3 men showed up with gifts.
I don't know. That's a Bible story. So
yeah, I shouldn't make fun of it, but
but
Mary's the oldest story of.
That is a Bible story. I think those are. Well, the thing is, like, there's a lot of fillers. I think that over time.
I'm just saying.
We believe
was born and 3 guys.
That's crazy. That's wild.
I'm gonna be like.
That's wild.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm saying, is that the Quran came and it's preserved directly from God. We believe because the way it was sent to this special man that has no knowledge of any of the previous prophets. But we're gonna have to continue this conversation in another episode, and I know that everyone's heated up. So hey guys, watch part 2.
Part 2.
Let's
go.
Let's go.
Hold on.
I have quite a bit to unload on the next one.
I'm excited.
This is awesome. This is awesome.
Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. This is Moustapha.
This is Jose.
Let's go. It's unboxing. Boom.